Well, I'm originally from Vermont. Joined the Marine Corps. There was 5 of us that joined the Marines from my hometown, and out of the 5 of us, there's only 2 of us still alive. And also out of the 5, 3 of us went to Vietnam. There was Lester Magoon, Irvin Godfrey, and myself, and Gaylord Moffett and Billy Holton. Billy Holton went to Okinawa. Lost Irving when he was 29 from suicide, and Vietnam got to him, and he couldn't handle what was going on. Gaylord, we lost him. He was 29 years old, and he fell in a river and drowned, where we used to fish as kids. And we lost Billy Holton, I think it was last year. He was 72 years old. He got up and had a cup of coffee and dropped dead in his kitchen. Lester and I are the only ones still alive. Lester lives in Hawaii, Lester Magoon, and I live now in South Carolina. And we stay in touch. I talked to him a couple of months ago, and he's losing his memory a little bit, which I can totally understand. You know, he's well up into his 70s now, but you know, I love him to death. And we grew up as babies, you know, and we all started out. We all been Patriots our whole life, and we all joined the Boy Scouts when we were young, and then we decided we wanted to be Marines, and we all joined the Marines. And they now have a plaque in our hometown that has all our names on it, and from Morrisville, Vermont. That's where I'm from, Morrisville, Vermont, originally. But you know, I'm just so proud of what they're doing here. This is amazing.
When you talk to me about your service in Vietnam, what was it like? When did you go over there? That type of thing. I
went to Vietnam the early part of 1971, and I didn't have to go. I had to sign a waiver because I was sole surviving son. And everybody said, well, why'd you go to Vietnam? And I said, well, I had stupid questions back then. You know, it's like, you go to Vietnam because I like killing people. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I went there to help defend my fellow Marines and soldiers. That was why I went. The only reason I went was to help defend our who we were, you know. And but I was criticized a lot when I come home, you know. But you know, Vietnam was quite an experience, you know, and there's a lot about it I don't talk about. You know, I was discovered with PTSD back a few years ago. I went in because I had high blood pressure, and the guy in there says, you have PTSD, and I didn't know what it was. And now I do. You know, but I'm sure that's what my best friend had when he killed himself.
Talk to me about what that was like, you know, when you found out that he had succumbed to that.
Well, to tell you the truth, it was during the winter, and in Vermont, and I had been a pallbearer for my aunt's funeral, and in the winter you can't bury people up there, and we brought them to this vault, and I remember looking at caskets, like, you know, just nosy, and I saw one that said Irvin Godfrey, and I was thinking, oh my God, look at this, old man Godfrey died. I thought it was his father. That spring, I saw Mr. Godfrey in the parking lot of a grocery store, and I went up to him and I said, Mr. Godfrey, I thought you had passed away. I saw your casket. And he said, no, that was young Irving. And he told me what happened Christmas Eve. Yeah. Excuse me. He took his life. He was 29 years old. Come home from Vietnam, he was a hero. Purple Heart, Silver Star, Bronze Star. He came home a war hero. But he just couldn't handle what was going on home.
Talk to me about what it was like when you came home from Vietnam. How were you treated?
I had one situation when I got home. They asked us, because I was in California, and because I was going to go home on leave, and they gave us leave right away. And they asked us not to wear our uniforms at the airport. And I'm going, I said, I joined the Marines, and I'm very proud of who I am. And I said, I will wear my uniform. Nobody's going to tell me I'm not. And I got criticized at the airport, and at LA International, Los Angeles Airport. It was 2 young men come up to me and calling me baby killer and all kinds of nonsense. And I looked over at one of them and I said, how old are you? And he says, 19. I said, you're older than I am. I said, I'm 18 years old. I'm 18 years old. And I said, and you're putting me down. And I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know, I did what I had to do.
And then talk to me about what it's like to come here today and to see, you know, this replica, I guess, sort of a replica of Vietnam that's here at Patriots Point, and to see the ceremony from today.
I think it's wonderful and emotional at the same time. I look at this tower right here, and this brings back some not so good memories. And just kind of, well, I can't really talk about it, but it's something that happened on the tower that really set me back. And every time I come here, I look at that tower, and it brings back a strange memory.
And what would you like to say to the public about Vietnam? People maybe don't even know about Vietnam, maybe younger people that it didn't even happen when they were around. Talk to them.
Well, be proud of your seniors, you know, because, you know, we all did what we had to do at that time, just like our younger generations are doing what they have to do. You know, I'm very proud of our younger Marines and Navy and sailors and Coast Guard. I'm proud of Air Force. I'm proud of them all today, you know, and what they've gone through. You know, I've had family members now that were, you know, that my cousin's boys were shipped out overseas. One of them was in Beirut when the barracks got bombed, and helped carry bodies out of the barracks at that time. And you know, and it's just, and they went through hell too, you know, but they were treated a lot better than I was when they came home. When they came home as war heroes, that's exactly what they were, as war heroes. We came back as killers, you know.
And how does that, I know you said you've gone through some counseling even because of some of the issues you've dealt with. How has that helped you over
The counseling has helped a lot because it gives you a chance to talk to somebody, you know, because my wife and kids, they didn't know. I mean, they knew I was in Vietnam, you know, but they didn't know anything about what I did and stuff, you know. And my wife has probably been one of my best, you know, people that I could be, you know, around, you know. And it's just like I'd have a rough night and she'd know it and she'd sit up with me. You know, can't sleep, and I still have rough nights that I can't sleep.